Good afternoon, YouTubers. Tsquare with Tsquare Talk. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about expiration dates versus best buy dates. It's something that a lot of people are now looking at as they are getting into prepping and preparing for the upcoming winter, with shortages on a lot of different food products. A lot of people are now starting to stock up a little extra and have a little extra food in their house. For those of you that think this sounds weird, this is something your grandparents probably did in the old days. When winter came, they might have canned their own food. As time went on, more and more people would just buy pre-canned food. And as time went on, a lot of people have become dependent on the grocery stores, and they feel that almost no matter what happens, the grocery stores will be there and they will have the food for you that you need for you and your family to survive. However, as we've been seeing more and more with everything going on, there are becoming more shortages. Now, we've been talking a lot on the channel about shortages in different items, what you might be able to do to take some extra precautions and how to prepare for that. So one of the big factors that comes up with that is, well, how do I know when something expires? Why would I want to keep it? And what I'm going to get into is just that. So right here, I have a couple cans of Spam. Now, Spam, to me, is a great product. It's basically, it lasts a while. It will keep. The expiration date on a new can of Spam is generally only going to be 2 years. However, the way they package a lot of this stuff, it lasts like forever. I have eaten cans of Spam that were 3 years expired, and there was nothing wrong with it. Nobody would know that it was expired. They'll taste it, and they'll be none the wiser. I'm not saying keep your cans 3 years to expiration. That's not what I'm saying. But I've got to put that out there because a lot of people think that if they eat that, I used to be guilty of this. When that expiration date comes, that's the end of it. Toss it out. I don't want nothing to do with it. I have had to test some of my own theories. I actually have a box of different canned items that I have put to the test. I've let them expire. One of the items I've actually had for a while because the seal ended up going on it. And I've been wanting to shoot a video on this very topic for a little while now. So one of these cans, believe it or not, is 6 years past its expiration date. So 6 years. Plus it had 2 years before. So I have had this can of Spam here for 8 years. 8 years now. I've been wanting, like I said, I've been testing a lot of this stuff. I've been wanting to test more stuff. I actually did a can of tomatoes that was expired by 2 years a little while back, to kind of test out, well, is it going to hurt? What does it look like? And I mean, I opened up the can, I checked the inside of the can for any kind of citric rust. Basically, your tomatoes, they say they have a high content of citric acid, and that will eat through the can. I do believe that can happen. However, we also, as consumers, have to be cautious of what we eat and how we take care of the items we have. Now, there's a lot of things that go into expiration dates. So, real quick, I'm going to read something first just so people know this. A lot of people do not know anything about expiration dates or best buy dates. So, I am reading this directly word for word. Manufacturers provide dating to help consumers and retailers decide when food is of its best quality, except for infant formula. So infant formula is the only exception to the expiration date rule as of right now. Dates are not an indicator of the product's safety and are not required by federal law. So right there, federal law does not get involved with expiration dates unless it's infant formula. That's the only thing. Now, a lot of people wonder, well, what's the deal with it? Okay, so there is no blanket process for setting expiration dates. Instead, food manufacturers and retailers determine these dates as they see fit. They may take many factors into consideration. They think about the characteristics of the particular food as it will apply to that food and the packaging of that food. So with that being said right there, now many factors go into that. Factors that, yes, are reasonable factors, like is there liquid in it? Is it a dry food like pasta, dried rice, that type of stuff? Or is it a liquidy food? Is it in like a little plastic container, or is it in a hard container where they've sucked out the air, they've processed it and all that? But there's also another factor that really has nothing to do with the food that they look at, like how long do they want this sitting on the shelf? If it don't sell fairly quick, they want the stores to basically write it off. I mean, they don't lose nothing. They just write off their inventory, and it's food waste. It goes into their shrink is what they call it, their shrink cost. And then they'll just buy more, which increases sales for the company. Now, where my opinion comes in on a lot of this stuff. So here we have 2 cans, and I'm going to show you the 2 cans. Obviously, you can see the difference. It's changed a little bit in 7 years. Now they have a 25% less sodium, which is good if you're on high blood pressure like me. I've got high blood pressure, so I try to watch a little bit. However, I think the extra salt in there will actually preserve it a little longer. It is like a salt brine. It's not much in there. There's a small amount of brine that keeps it. But there's other factors. So looking at these 2 cans, there's no way I would eat this one. And I'm going to explain why. So this one, when you touch the can, you first examine your can. If the can itself looks good, it feels good, it's not bulging at the seams. One of the key things I look at, I will touch the top, and if I squeeze it a little bit and nothing happens, I don't hear a sound, then there's probably nothing wrong with it. However, this can right here, I'm going to squeeze the top. This can has not been opened yet. You guys should be able to hear that clear as day. Now, it doesn't appear to be open. The seals look the same on it. This one doesn't have it. This one does. But it doesn't take much for air to puncture the can, something to puncture the can and allow air to get in there. Well, when air gets in there, bacteria get in there. Bacteria forms in there. Now, I'm not a licensed physician. I'm not in the medical field. I'm not in food production. I'm telling you what I have found that works for me. This is all just my personal opinion. And like I said, I've had this can for a little while sitting on my counter, and I've been meaning to throw it away, but I also wanted to do a video because a lot of people don't know what that means. Can't do that with this one. Now, granted, one of them's new, one of them's expired. It's expired by 5 years. Canned meat like this, whether it's canned tuna, canned Spam, canned chicken salad, that type of stuff generally lasts 2 to 5 years, is common practice. However, expiration dates are generally only 2 years. If you look at the can, I'm a little nervous because we're going to pop this can open. When you look at the can, the first thing is always going to be do a visual inspection of the can. You don't want to get sick if we are in a grid down scenario. Let's hypothetically say the power grid goes down and you get sick. You don't want that to happen. So you want to be mindful of what you're eating. But you also, if food starts getting scarce, you also don't want to be throwing away something because it expired yesterday. You may want to think about that a little bit. Some foods, maybe. Other foods, you may want to think twice. But look, I mean, it looks like it's all still sealed up. And to show you guys the expiration date, this can expired in August of 2015. See if you guys can kind of zoom in and see that a little bit. Boom. So 2015, this can expired. Now I'm going to open it up. I'm a little. When I open it up, I'll be honest, it smells fine. I still would not eat it. Like I said, I don't want to take any chances. Generally, when you open a can like this up, an old can, a can that was damaged, or, well, a normal can, you would have a liquid brine almost in here. No liquid brine in there. You can see, let's see if I dump it all the way. Oh, yeah, there's nothing. I'm not even getting even a little bit of liquid. That tells me the can had actually been punctured somewhere on here. I could end up sealing the top and applying pressure in there, put some liquid in there and apply pressure and find out where the puncture was. You won't always see the puncture if it's like a pinhole. But I say that you've got to be able to kind of use some common sense. Now, if I open this up and it was all black and green, generally I tell people, if you eat something on a regular basis, then you should probably have some in your pantry extra. If you open it up and it looks funny, it looks different in some way, maybe that's a sign. Those are using your senses in what's good and what's bad. So, for instance, if I opened it up and it looked all green or black or something, I'm not going to want to eat it. If I opened it up and it smelled really off, this has a slight different smell to it, where I would not eat it. For a second there, I just got that smell. I got really close to it, got that smell, and almost felt like I was going to throw up. That would be pretty bad if I threw up on camera. But the can was damaged. Man, now it's kind of bothering me a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten right up into it and smell it. But this is something you would have to do in a bad scenario. However, if you are rotating out your pantry on a regular basis, you don't generally have a lot of stuff expiring. You might have one can go out. Like I said, this can I've had for a while intentionally because I've been wanting to do a video and it just kind of sat there in my junk pile that I was going to throw it away. But I was like, nah, I got to do a video to show people that pop, how it pop tops, because I want people to know. This one, celebrating 75-year anniversary. That's funny. They're celebrating 75 years of Spam. And, you know, I mean, it's interesting how they package this stuff and it lasts a long time. So Spam is one of them items that I believe people should have in their prep or in their pantry. Even if you're not a huge fan of Spam, there's a lot of good stuff you can do with Spam. I'm not a plain Spam person. I've got some friends that'll make sandwiches with it. I'm not a big fan of that, but I do use it in fried rice because it's salty. It will carry that salt into that flavor into the fried rice. I use it in omelets. I will pan sear it and do a lot of little different recipes. It's great if you sear it a little and then you put it on top of a garden salad. Spam is very versatile to add to your meal. It is meat, so your body will need protein. You're going to want to make sure you eat stuff like that. And to show you guys one more thing here real quick. This right here, it's called Eat by Date. But what I wanted to show you on this is Spam generally lasts 2 to 5 years. Canned chicken, generally 2 to 5 years. Canned tuna, 2 to 5 years. Canned corned beef, 2 to 5 years. Deviled ham. Now, this one was interesting because I honestly don't know what deviled ham is. I've never had deviled ham. I need to go to the grocery store and look into it, but that's 2 to 5 years too. Canned clams, 2 to 5 years. Now, we're starting to see a trend on around 2 to 5 years. As you scroll down, once you open it, you only have 7 to 10 or 5 to 10 days. Spam, you got about 7 to 10 days. Canned chicken, 5 to 7. Canned tuna, 5 to 7. Familiarize yourself with this type of stuff because should something happen and we start really running into shortages of food, we're seeing more and more shortages in everything now. And a lot of people don't understand why the shortages are happening. We've talked about this. We've actually started talking about it before the shortages even happened, that we expected to see that. This is because of endless money printing. The more they print money, the less your money will be worth. People will want to get rid of that money. They're not going to want to save it. A lot of people are already in debt way too much, and they don't have a savings account. They're just getting by day, check by check. The problem that will arise with that, people are going to focus on feeding their families first. The next thing they're going to focus on is their shelter, their house, whether that's rent, whether that's a house payment. The next thing they're going to focus on is cars, their vehicles to get to and from work. If work slows down, they'll let that go before they let their house go. However, the very first thing they're going to let go is their credit cards. That's why a lot of people have been dumping banking stock. We talked about that in a previous video where Warren Buffett had dumped a lot of his banking stocks. A lot of people are advising get away from the banking sector. If the economy starts to tank, we could be in for a crazy surprise, seeing bank stocks just plummet, and then have the Federal Reserve have to bail out all these banks just like they did in 2008 because they're too big to fail. We can't let all the banks of America go under. However, will they make that same choice today? Little by little, the Federal Reserve is consolidating its power, I believe. And once their new digital money comes out, which is basically the Fed coin, which is kind of like a cryptocurrency, but you'll have a card. Everybody pretty much already uses credit cards now or debit cards to bank. So the only difference, some people don't even go to their physical banks anymore. They bank with some bank online that there's not a bank in their area, but it's okay. They have their check direct deposit into their bank account, and then their bank account gives them a card, and then they just swipe their card on whatever they want. All the Federal Reserve would have to do to implement that kind of a system is make a card up. And then people's pay, they get paid in Fed coin. Their pay gets put into their Fed bank account. And then you just basically spend your Fed coins right off the card. It's a scary situation when you think about it, but they're going to push this. The next financial crisis we have, I believe they're going to push it. That's why they already have the system played out. We've talked about this on many of the streams already. So please hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Give the channel a chance. Check out some of our videos. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this. I guess this video wasn't just about expiration dates and spam. We're kind of getting into a couple of other topics that we talk about here on the channel, but a lot of people are not prepared for. So with that being said, I hope to see you guys again on one of my other videos. Definitely a live stream. We do a couple live streams over the course of the week, usually around 7:30 if we do it. If not, we post videos most weekdays in the evenings at about 7:30 to 8 Central U.S. Central Time. And hopefully I'll see you guys there. So I thank you all for watching, and keep an eye on what's going on because stuff's starting to get crazy. A lot of shortages and everything. So I will see you guys again on Tsquare Talk. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for watching.